Are you a slow player? Do you need to learn technique to be able to survive as a slow player? Is it possible to survive with missing a lot of athletic components that a lot of others have in the game of soccer, where the coaches abuse those players because they don't teach them how to be technical? Because I don't care how fast you are, eventually the oppositions can be faster, whether that's the whole back line or someone's man marking you or you have an injury and you can't run as fast. You have to be able to play slow, meaning fast in the head and slowing the game down because that's fast as you can go, depending on the situation. So you can. So we're going to read an article from stack.com. Let's get right to it. And it starts off good, and then they start giving advice, and then it's kind of, okay, you lost me. Where's the teaching? And I'm going to take you into my backyard and show you one technique I use for everybody, but how to play slow, meaning team's too fast for you. You have to play differently. You have to slow things down. You can't just go forward. You actually have to go backwards. You have to go in different directions that you're not used to, because every coach in America, well, a lot of them, it's all go forward, and it's insane. So let's get to the article. How the slow, small kid can still become an elite soccer player. It is possible. I agree. Big, strong, and fast. Those are the traits that dominate youth soccer in America. That is correct. If you don't have them, there's a good chance you'll get overlooked, of course, because coaches want to win right now, and it's disgusting. Despite all the lip service paid to development over winning, too many coaches still want the fast kids who make it easier to win. I want the fast kids too. I just want to make them technical. I'm not going to waste their time. I will teach them regardless of athletic ability. Should be the same regardless. Everyone should learn the same stuff, basically. Just be technical. You can survive that way. It's a simple formula. Play kick and chase. Swarm to the ball defensively, and you will win a lot of games. Yep. What you won't do is develop players who have the ability to play at the next level when they get older. That is correct. All of this article is on par in the way I think. It's true that the big and fast overcome a lot when players are young. The ones with size and speed look like future stars, but not every kid is going to be among the big and fast, and that's okay. One of the great things about soccer is the player can excel at the beautiful game in ways that have nothing to do with these athletic traits. That is true. These are things all players can do to become significantly better at the sport, regardless of their athletic genes. And truth is, they can absolutely make the difference between being a great player and an average player. So now this article is going to move on to talk about what they think development, or they'll give you suggestions on how you can become a better player, and then I'll give you my opinion because we disagree. This is kind of like, well, we'll read it in a second, but the one thing I would say is any coach, any club, whatever, stop saying, hey, I'm going to get you a Division I scholarship. Stop saying you're going to take them to the next level, whatever that is. Start saying, I'm going to find a way to develop you in such a way that you'll love the game for a lifetime. That should be our goal in soccer in America. That's it. Convert as many people to the game that they love it forever, regardless of athletic ability. If you do that, you have succeeded. And the only way you can do that is that you have to get them to love the soccer ball, which I'll show you one technique in my backyard shortly. Give them information to survive the game so they feel successful, and give them as many repetition in game environments that they actually can receive it and combine it and measure it. And the more times they touch it, the closer you get, or touch the ball and become successful, and show them those benchmarks, the closer you'll get for a full conversion to the game for a lifetime. That's the goal. So this is what this is what the article goes into. Great quote, by the way, by Xavi here. So one of my favorite quotes come from great midfielder Xavi Hernandez. Xavi said, "Most of my opponents were quicker and stronger than me. Decision-making is what controls our actions. Some players have a mental top speed of 80, while others are capable of reaching 200. I always tried to reach 200. Reading on. Simply put, think fast and you will play faster. Even in your physical soccer skills haven't improved. Soccer IQ and decision-making play a huge role in the success or failure of a player or team. How exactly do you train yourself to think fast? Much of it revolves around the skills of vision, awareness, and anticipation. Those are just words. So right now I'm not being converted like, oh, wow. But you will shortly because I'm going to speak my mind. The most important skill in soccer is analytic ability. If you want to succeed, you need a high level of soccer intelligence to make good decisions with the ball. Actually, I'm going to stop right there. So analytic ability is true. The smartest players, that's what I love about soccer. You can think your way to victory. You can think your way to starting. You can think your way and put yourself in an environment that you can be a big-time player. It is possible. That's what's great about soccer. There's so many variables to it. But I was watching a team play, and there's a player on this team. It was in Maricopa recruiting, and there was a player that plays center mid. They're losing 1-0, comes off the bench, scores 3 goals, and they end up winning 3-2. And he wasn't the fastest. He's definitely not the biggest. He looked overweight. I mean, he didn't look like much, but his timing, his understanding, the way he touched the ball was ridiculous. And the third goal he scored, the game winner, ball was crossed into the penalty mark, and the opposition had like 3 guys around him. The ball came, hit his chest. He concaves his chest, so the ball dropped right down to his left foot and roofed it. Like a lot of people chest trap the ball and it goes straight up, and they have to wait for the ball, and then he strikes it. That's a perfect example of being technical, so technical that being athletic, doesn't solve it. He was quicker by receiving the ball and driving it straight down to his left foot versus up, then down. That's slow. He was fast because his intelligence of absorbing the ball, dropping it straight to his left foot from a 45-yard cross, by the way. It was crazy, and his timing and seeing everything, he was special. He was different. He's a future pro, I would say, and he's not athletic, but he's freaking smart. So back to the article. To make good decisions with the ball, you need to know what you're going to do with it before you receive it. Even a player with a fantastic first touch will struggle if they wait for the ball to be at their feet before they start analyzing their environment and thinking about their next move. The game is too fast to try and figure out after you've already received the ball, which is true. The question is, how do you get to that point? And that hasn't been answered yet, which I'll try to answer. Thinking fast is knowing your situation before you take that first touch on the ball. If making your one and only touch a pass creates opportunities for your team, you must be prepared to do so. If your eyes simply follow the ball the entire game, at some point, it'll inevitably wind up at your feet. But it is only then that you take the time to look beyond the ball to your surrounding environment. You'll be under constant pressure and struggle to make good decisions. Quite simply, you'll be thinking slow. This leads to the concept of checking your shoulder. So checking your shoulder. So they're talking about checking your shoulder. Okay, you just do that, I guess. So let's read on and see if it actually solves a problem. And I don't know if it does. Because the good thing about me, I guess good, I'm very simple-minded. So if I understand it, then I think the kids will understand it because I'm about their same intelligence. The idea of checking your shoulder is something I rarely hear coached in youth soccer. To check your shoulder is to simply take your eyes off the ball so you can glance at your other surroundings. Okay, I'm going to pause it here for a second. I had to pause it because I had to pull up a video from my website. So it's saying check your shoulder. Okay, yeah, we know check your shoulder, check your surroundings, but how do you train for that? It doesn't touch that, but I'll touch it for you right now. So I'm going to move to my YouTube channel. So this is what I did for my son to be able to look away and identify things. So he's actually reading this computer. So this is a setup in my backyard. And this is not the video I'm showing. I'm going to show you another video. Actually, I did this morning, but this is an old video back in 2015. There's my son. He's so young. So he hears a noise, and then it tells him the direction he's supposed to go. So this is the wall to the right of the line I put on the wall. So he has to pay attention to the computer and look up. So this is how I would train checking your shoulder. And then I made it more difficult. So he had to identify directions in order. So first he's going to go at the wall and then to the right. Then at the wall, then to the left. You better hurry up. He has to check his shoulder. See, he's not that quick at it. But you can see how he's checking the shoulder, looking as he recognizes it's going too fast for him. You see how he's getting all tense? I love his ball. And then he eats it. So that's a drill you can do to check the shoulder. That could teach that kind of movement, recognizing things and stuff like that. That's a good exercise you can do at home. This is why I'm a big advocate for parents get involved. The house, the family needs to be involved in order to create a soccer player, to love it for a lifetime. It can't just be a coach on Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever their schedule is. So let's read on what this article on Stack.com says. Great midfielders like Frank Lampard or Andreas or Iniesta have been track checking their shoulder roughly every 6 seconds for the entirety of a 90-minute match. That works out to 800 to 1,000 times per game. That's an interesting statistic. The video below is only about 17 seconds. It's a clinic in a simple movement off the ball combined with awareness of the available spaces to be able to receive and deliver valuable passes. Let's take a look. Always looking around, always looking around. That's good. That's a good example. So you can't just make the decision, oh, I'll start doing it. You actually have to make some identification drills. And I'm going to pause again. I'm going to show you another one I did. Okay, I found another video I want to show you. So this is a backyard soccer activity. What you're going to see is basically a foot tennis activity where you had to hit the ball into the net and then let it bounce and then hit it over. And while that's going on, the opposition would give you a color. Then you would have to strike the ball, either green, orange, or whatever. And let's just let it run. So, and you have to avoid it. So little Jet's now 13 and he's taller than me. And this is kind of how Jet grew up. There's Ryo Sugahara. But you got to avoid it and hit the color. There's a little Jet. So that's an activity that you can do. Always looking towards your surrounding, identifying things, identifying colors, striking it and dealing with the ball. And then you got the head movement. I think that's a training exercise. So the content in this article is good, except where's the thoughts of getting to that point? What drills can you do? What can you do at home? Can do that. And then that's where I come in. So between the two, between Stack.com and CoachCameron.com, we're complementing each other by our information. So it's good. Reading on. Far too often, from the younger ages all the way through the late teen years, soccer athletes become spectators and just stare at the ball. They might wake up when it comes in close proximity, but by then it's too late. They've lost the chance to better position themselves, and they have no idea of the space or players around them. The result tends to be a turnover or them booting the ball away in a panic. Checking your shoulder constantly and then adjusting your movement and decision based on what you see can completely change your game for the better. By always seeing and evaluating what is going on around you, it becomes much easier to anticipate what will happen next. This helps to increase your speed of play while giving you more time to make good decisions. So that is all correct. So, but you're going to have to put the repetition. You're going to have to put the time at home. You have to take your backyard or whatever you have at home, whether it's inside, outside, or your neighborhood or somewhere you can go that you can actually get reps where you're making decisions all the time, where it doesn't have to be a game. Games kind of can complicate things because it becomes too pressure, too much stress to do something this complex. It's very difficult to do this, but you need baby steps of training so you can do what I do in my backyard. And I do have my main video where I did this morning. I'm going to show you a drill that explains how to trap the ball in such a way that it's not about speed, it's about intelligence. So understanding passing angles. Too many players believe they are open when they're actually not. Yeah, that's certainly true. In many cases, taking 1 or 2 extra steps can easily create a better passing angle for teammates. Many young players don't give much thought to passing the angles, but they have a huge impact on the team. Think about it. Think about how you can be more open for your teammates, or how your own passes can play a teammate into being more open. And so we're talking about passing angles, and these are things you're supposed to be doing in drills, and these aren't easy to teach to players that are waiting for a coach to explain it to understand versus, do you watch the game? Do you seriously watch the game? Not only do you watch on TV, do you actually watch it, go to soccer all the time? There's something about being part of the soccer culture. That's why my son plays on an all Hispanic team, and pretty much 95% of the entire soccer club is Hispanic. They love the game. They watch the game. They can name players. They're different. I didn't grow up that way. I grew up as the athlete. I didn't get my technique until I became a coach in my 30s. I mean, I had good technique, but not like I have today. I'm a different player today. Too bad my body doesn't function too well because I don't have cartilage. Reading on. The better you understand passing angles and the more equipped you are to take advantage of them, the more valuable you'll be on your team. Always be moving is the next one. Soccer doesn't stop. What was a good position 1 second might not be the next. Good passing angles and seams, the space between defenders to play a pass, appear and disappear in a flash. If you're standing flat-footed, staring at the ball, you're letting the game pass you by. So everything in this article is just saying what they see, which is correct. This is what we see in America. Now, how do you solve it? Okay, how do you solve it? I'm going to solve it for you right now. So this is how you solve it. Step 1, you can have your primary team, whatever that is. Okay, make sure you find more playing opportunities with other teams, typically in leagues that are not too structured with rules. Does that make sense? Hispanic leagues, African leagues, pickup, they exist. They've always existed. In the 90s, I was looking for opportunities to play all the time. I had the pizza parlor guy. He's Italian. I convinced him to train me. He trained me like 6 times. But I was always like, I want information, but I didn't have YouTube like you guys have. I was always looking for. On Friday nights, I would go and play in a Polish pickup league. I had a friend, Hajduk, what's his name? Kevin Hajduk. And he was Polish, and he took me where there was Polish pickup. It's everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. That was back in 1992 in Phoenix, Arizona. I was playing in a Polish league on Friday night and then on Sundays, occasional on Sundays. But I was doing that as a kid. You should do that. I was a kid playing with adults, 30-year-old, 4-year-old, ex-pros. I didn't even know, but they were amazing, and they couldn't stand playing with me, and you could tell. And eventually I stopped playing with them because you could tell they didn't like me because I ruined their game. I was fast. I was trying to do everything on my own. They didn't really teach me as much as the game would. Find places you can play, and hopefully it's safe enough that you can actually fail and not get yelled at like I did. So I avoided that. I wish I did that more. You can find pickup games. They're out there. They just tend to be Polish, Hispanic, African, anyone that's not from this country typically. They there's Serbian, Croatians. I don't know where you live, but there's play going on. There's play, I promise you. Find that. I don't care how old your child is. Find a way to get them to play or develop your own in your neighborhood. So be part of it and play with players that are much older and better than you. So that even if you're not touching the ball, you're seeing what's going on. That's it. Watch it, play it, and then develop your technique at home, because at practice, you're not going to get that. They don't have time to do all that. They have to worry about structure and all these other things. They're not going to be able to do it. So let's look at my video. Here is a training video that I have for you guys. So let's put that on. So now I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. If you're too slow to play the game, you trap it behind your plant foot. Here. Then the ball's in between you. You don't want touches in front of you or out wide or anything. If you're in a situation where you're lacking the speed and the pressure is too great, you always kill it in between you, and then you get your feet set, then you can protect and then play the game. We're always in that situation of here, protect it here, or protect it here, versus this, I see a lot. And then you're always in a situation of collisions. So if you're lacking speed, take a touch in between, and you'll have coaches say, "Oh, don't put it there. You get your legs broken." No, get your legs broken when your touch is always in front of you, with people coming. So if you don't know how to kill the ball and then get your feet set and protect yourself, you're going to have a hard time surviving the game, because eventually someone's going to be faster. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to start doing that a lot. And hopefully that does make sense. Create an environment at home that you actually can train. And I'm going to start providing a lot of this. I'm going to get out of this whole politics of soccer, because it's stressful, like talking about politics and talking about the Rising and Ricky Shantz and all that. It's stressful. It drives me nuts. And I need to stop, because I don't need that stress in my life. What's it going to do? Other than I think we need to fight against nut jobs that want to cancel everybody. I think that's just what we have to do. But in the spirit of what I'm good at is teaching technique, how you can survive in the game of soccer and love it for a lifetime, is by learning these things. Stack.com, it was great article. It does point out the problems we have, but we need to start problem solving right now. Take ownership of your development. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with more important information. I hope we'll keep focusing on this. All right, see you tomorrow.